A door opened and closed in the passage behind her. A musty smell emerged. Okay, so as the author reached there to the address, to that particular address, there came out a woman, and she was having a little chat with her, and then the author initially failed to recognize her, but later, as she discovered her wearing the cardigan, the same cardigan that was once used by her mother, she was now sure and certain that she had been to the right address. And this is when this woman tried to hide herself behind the door, and she took almost half of her body behind the door. So this was the opportunity to get a view of inside the house. And as now there was an opening for the things to be viewed inside, so what she could see inside was a door was opening and closing behind her, behind that woman. And also there emerged a musty smell, a kind of smell that comes from a house which is not having proper ventilation, proper source of lighting, that is proper source of sunlight coming to the house, reaching the rooms. So such musty, that is damp kind of smell was coming from the house. That is, the walls were damp. I regret I cannot do anything for you. Now she replied, the woman replied that she was very sorry, that she could not do anything for her, that she was helpless, she has nothing uh, to offer her as help. I have come here especially on the train. I wanted to talk to you for a moment, and now the author persisted. She was not willing to go without having a chat, without having a talk to the woman, and she tried to convince her by saying that she came here specially on the train with this special and sole purpose of meeting her. She came there by train. It's not convenient for me now, said the woman. I can't see you another time. Now, she said, when she found that she was not going, she was adamant. She was wanting to have urgently a serious talk, say, a chat with her. So she said, "This is a not convenient time for me. That is, I am right now busy. Yes, I've got some work to attend. I have some business to attend. So come some other time." She nodded and cautiously closed the door as though no one inside the house should be disturbed. Now, saying this, she closed the door very cautiously, very carefully. She took great care to close the door, and the way she did it, it suggested that she did not want the other people inside the house to get disturbed, that the others should not come to know that someone had come to her to talk about her family possession, her family belongings. I stood where I was on the step. The curtain in front of the bay window moved. Someone stared at me and would then have asked what I wanted. Now she was there. She stood there only. she was undecided. She could not decide as what to do because she had come there with only one purpose, with the sole purpose of meeting her, and that she denied giving her time. So she had no other business, no other work there than to return back. And then she was having plenty of time before the train arrived. The scheduled train arrived. There was plenty of time in her hand, so she was undecided as what to do. So she remained there remained there standing, say, so stood there for a while on the steps there only, and then she noticed something. That is the curtain in front of the bay window. That is, there was a bay window. Bay window is a different kind of window, not the kind of window that we normally see in our houses, but a projected window, a window which is extended, which is, say, constructed in such a way that it remains extended out of the wall. That is the walls are there, the wall of the house. So it will have an extension. The window will have an extension. Uh, that is extension from the wall. It will be extended from the wall. So that is called bay window. So the bay window was there, and a curtain was also there. So she noticed that someone was moving the curtain. Someone, and then she noticed that someone stared at her, and she would have asked what she wanted. That is what the author wanted. Maybe that she asked it to the same woman, the woman of the house, that is Mrs. Darling. She asked this question to Darling as what she wanted. Oh, nothing, the woman would have said. And then the woman might have said, if that was asked to Darling, then she would have said that, well, nothing. The woman would have said, it's nothing. She would simply say, she would just uh, say, it's nothing. That is no serious work, no serious business. That casually the lady had come to ask for something. And this way, she would dismiss the whole issue. She would dismiss the whole thing. I looked at the nameplate again. Darling, it said. Now she looked at the nameplate. She was still standing there. Now she nicely noticed that all the things, took a good look at all the things. So she first looked at the nameplate, and the nameplate said Darling. That is, the name written there was Darling in black letters on white enamel. That is written on white plate with black ink, with black letters, and on the jamb, and it was fixed onto the jamb. Jamb is the structure of the door, so it was fixed to that, as we generally find. A bit higher, the number, and a little higher than that was written the number, and the number written there was 46. Okay, so there was the nameplate, and above that nameplate, a little higher than the nameplate, was the number of the house, and that number was 46. The number said 46. The number read 46. As I walked slowly back to the station, I thought about my mother, who had given me the dress years ago, and now she was slowly walking back to the station, since she was having no other work, and the train was still hours later to come. So she was walking very casually, very slowly, and as she was moving back to the station, the thought of her mother came to her mind, who had given the address years ago. That is the thought of the mother. She dreamt of mother, and dreamt of that even when mother told her about that particular address. And that was years ago, several years ago. It had been in the first half of the war. I was home for a few days, and it struck me immediately that something or other about the room had changed. Now it was the first half of the war. That is, there was a kind of war there in Finland, Holland. What is here? The country mentioned is Holland, yes, and there was the civil war going on there. So during the first half of the civil war, she reached there. She came to home. She went home, say, and there she noticed that something about the room had changed. That few things have gone missing, and she noticed it very immediately. I missed various things, and she missed various things. A lot of things were found missing from the room, from not only her room but from other rooms as well. My mother was surprised I should have noticed so quickly, and mother was very much surprised. She was so puzzled that she noticed it so quickly that she entered, hardly took a rest of say 5 or 10 minutes, and she realized immediately, instantly, that things about the rooms have changed. A lot of things have gone missing. So then she told me about Mrs. Dorling, and after that, when she noticed things, mother then was forced to tell her about Mrs. Dorling. Before that, she was not ready, she was not willing to tell her anything about the things that had gone missing from the rooms, from the house. I had never heard of her, but apparently she was an old acquaintance of my mother. But then this name, as mother told her about, was never heard before. This name never appeared in any of the discussions previously. But it was clear, it was evident from mother's discussion, mother's talks, that she was an old acquaintance, that she was an old, say, either friend or some kind of relatives, known person, you can say. She was known to her. And not only known, but old acquaintance, that is, she had known her for a long time, whom she hadn't seen for years, that is, she was an old acquaintance, that is, Dorling was an old acquaintance to her mother. But then she suddenly disappeared from the scene, and due to which there was no discussion of her. There was no, her name never surfaced in any of the discussions. She had suddenly turned up and renewed their contact. Since then, she had come regularly, and suddenly she appeared there and then renewed the contact. Since she reappeared there, maybe that she had gone to some other place, she got shifted to some other place and stayed there for few years, and after that she returned. She came back to her home, and when she returned there to her hometown, she renewed her contact with Otis' mother, and now she started to come quite regularly. Every time she leaves here, she takes something home with her, said my mother. And then mother said, since most probably she returned during the wartime, and when she came, she reestablished her connection, her contact with Otis' mother, and now every time that she left the house, Otis' house, she carried away something from there. She took all the table silver in one go, and then the antique plates that hung there. Okay, so the first time, that is, at first, she took away all the silvers, that is, all the silver crockery, spoons, plates, and things that were of silver. So she removed all the silver items of crockery at first. Then she took away all the antique plates that hung there. Then in the next part, she removed all the antique plates, the decorative plates that hung from the wall. She had trouble lugging those large vases, and I'm worried she got a creak in her back from the crockery. And then she took away all the vases. Large vases were there for decorative purposes, and she removed those. She took away those large vases, and then while she was taking away the crockery, that is the utensils of kitchen utensils, she got a creak. She got a crack, some kind of cramp or crack to her back, and she had trouble while taking away the crockery items. She had trouble. She got a creak, she got a crack, or say a cramp, some kind of cramp to her back. My mother shook her head pityingly, and she shook her head that she had sympathy for her. She felt quite hurt, quite bad, as she got hurt while carrying the crockery items, because she thought that she was doing a good job for the family, for Otis' family. She was saving the family belongings, the say possessions, family possessions of the author, and she took pity. She felt bad when she got a creek. Okay, then I would never have dared ask her. She suggested it to me herself. She even insisted. Okay, so, and she could never dare ask her. That is, she could never tell her not to carry the things away because it was suggested by her only. That is, Mrs. Dorling only suggested that she should she should take away all the family belongings, because the logic she presented here was that they would remain safer at her place than here. So she could not deny, she could not say no to her. If we have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. That is, she said that if they had to leave this town, if they had to leave this place, then they would lose everything. That is, the Otis family would lose everything, all the crockery, all the good items, all the silvers, and everything would be lost. All the family possessions, the family belongings would be lost. because there was a civil war, and civil war means looting and all kind of things could take place. So in that case, they would lose everything, and she assured her that these things would be safer at her place. Have you agreed with her that she should keep everything I asked? She should keep everything I asked. So she said, did you agree with her when she said she should take away all the things and that everything would be safer with her? As if that's necessary, my mother cried. My mother said, the author's mother said that that was necessary. I felt that was necessary. It would simply be an insult to talk like that. And to talk like that, to raise a doubt, suspicion about her intention would be wrong here. And think about the risk she was running, and think about the risk that she was having while carrying all the things. Each time she goes out of our door with a full of suitcase or bag, and each time she went out of our doors with suitcase, either suitcase or a bag, the kind of risk she was carrying, that was unimaginable. That was extraordinary.